Well, hi everybody. I'm Professor Hank Sennett, and I am your instructor for this online version of public relations writing. First of all, my congratulations to all of you for taking an online class, and more importantly, for taking an online class in the summertime. You have an awful lot going on. I know I do. It's vacation time. It's time to, hang out with family and friends. It's time to work. So the fact that you've decided to take on an online class, I think speaks a lot to, your seriousness about getting an education and your seriousness about this particular topic and your interest in public relations. What I want to do in this hopefully brief video is to go through some of the highlights of the syllabus and then to talk to you a little bit about the ins and outs of taking an online class. I'm sure some of you have taken online classes before, maybe some of you haven't, but I do have a few pointers that I think may help the process go easier for you, and at the same time you can get the best experience out of it as possible. I think first of all, the number one thing that we have to keep in mind is that we have a really short period of time to cover an awful lot of work. We have 5 weeks to cover what's usually covered in a 15-week period of time. So it's very important that one, you do get the textbook, and that two, you do read the chapter reading. There's no way in terms of the weekly discussion that we're going to have or the assignments that I'm going to give you that we will have an opportunity to cover all the topics. Nonetheless, it's important things that you should know about. I think you'll enjoy the textbook. I used it during the spring semester, and people, generally speaking, seem to enjoy it. Didn't have an awful lot of complaints about the material or the textbook. So please get the textbook. Please do the readings. Secondly, in terms of assignments, it's very important that your assignments be handed in on time. Usually Sunday nights at 6 o'clock, unless I note otherwise. Since this is a writing class, there's going to be a little back and forth between us. You'll hand in an assignment. I'll take a look at it. I'll probably make some suggestions, send it back to you, ask you to make the changes. One of the challenges of teaching an online writing class is that there's not a whole lot of opportunity. Matter of fact, there isn't any opportunity at all for any sort of one-on-one, let's sit in the same room and talk about things, back and forth. So it's going to be really important that on my end, I respond to your assignments as, concisely and clearly as I can. And on your end, that you respond to my comments and my suggestions. What I'm going to be doing in terms of the work between us in the short period of time that we have is that I'm going to be focusing on making sure you have a sense of how to write a basic press release, how to write a feature release, and how to write social media postings. The textbook will cover some of the other things. Now, in terms of the press release and the feature release and the social media postings, and where I'm going to ask you to get the material from, I'm not going to ask you to dream stuff up. What I am going to ask you to do is to take a look at an organization that you're familiar with, maybe a place where you're working right now, maybe a nonprofit that you're familiar with, maybe the YMCA that you work out in every morning, and take a look and see, what they do, what are some of the topics that they cover in their press releases and feature releases and their social media posts. What I don't want you to do is to take a press release and rewrite it and try to make it your own. Because I am going to sort of check to make sure that the work is, original. At the same time, you can get some good ideas from the websites of these organizations as to the kinds of things that they might be interested in or they might be doing. So for example, if you're thinking about a YMCA and they have a summer camp, for example, you might want to start writing about a swim lesson program that they have. And you can get a sense from their website about some of the things that they're going to talk about. What hopefully will happen is what you'll be able to write in that basic press release, you'll be able to then spin off for feature release, and then spin off for those social media postings. So again, it's not going to be entirely make stuff up, original work. I want it to be based in, some sort of reality. Because let's face it, if you go to work in the business somewhere, no matter what the organization is, they're going to tell you to go back and say, hey, look and see how we did something like this in the past. So that's what it is that I'm asking you to do. We're also going to have a weekly discussion forum that I'll expect everybody to participate in, with their own posting and responding to at least one or two other postings. This will be primarily based on some of the things that you're going to be reading about, a particular topic of interest, particularly as it relates to, what might be going on in the public relations business, at this time. There's always something going on that we can talk about and that we can write about. As you look at the syllabus, you see that there's only one test. That test is going to be on the textbook, the reading that you're doing. Again, in the short amount of time that we have, scheduling more than one test just doesn't seem to make any sense to me at all. That's just, having a test to have a test, and I'm just not that kind of instructor. I also want to talk to you a little bit about taking an online class. Taking an online class is always a challenge because it's not something in your schedule. It's not something that you go to 2 days a week or an afternoon a week. In the summertime, particularly in July, this is going to become more of a challenge. There's an awful lot going on, as I said at the top. You're working, you're doing things with family and friends. Maybe you're going on vacation. Maybe you just want to hang out. And if you don't schedule yourself to do the work for the online class, it's going to slip by you. And all of a sudden you're going to discover it's Sunday night and it's 5 o'clock and you haven't participated in a discussion and you haven't done the written assignment and you're still at the beach and you're not going to be home in time. Which brings me to a real important point that I want to make. And it's this. In terms of getting the work done, in terms of asking for any special favors, in terms of, can I have an extension, to complete this assignment? Can I have an extension to be able to participate in the discussion? Please keep in mind that we're all in the same position. Look, I'm working this summer at my other job. I'm in charge of public relations and marketing for my wife's real estate practice. So I'm working. We have a 7-year-old granddaughter who spends an awful lot of time with us, and we do things with her on the weekends. So I'm out and about and at the beach. So I have to make a conscious effort to be sure to get the work done as well. So, before you get in touch with me to say, hey, it just got away from me this week, please remember that there are probably other people, maybe myself included, who had to, maybe mess up his schedule just a little and say, to family or friends, hey, excuse me, I need about an hour. I've got to do some work for my online class. Which brings me to really the major point that I want to make. The best thing to do in taking an online class, particularly in the summertime, is physically write it down, mark out time on your calendar, either online, in a calendar book, on your phone, however you happen to keep track of your time, that's going to say online class. 2 days a week, 4 to 6. 3 days a week, 7 to 8. Whatever happens to work for you and whatever will allow you to get the work done. That way, when you see the time on your calendar, you've planned for it, you have to do it. When you get that phone call from somebody, saying, hey, we're all going out, or hey, we're all taking off for a couple of days, you're going to know that you're going to have to say, well, hey, I got a little work to do for my online class first. And that's really, really, really important. That's one of the best ways to ensure that you're going to succeed is to, again, make sure that you have the time. And the final thing that I want to talk to you about is how we're going to communicate with each other. Obviously, we'll communicate back and forth based on your assignments. We'll communicate in the online forum. I'll be watching and monitoring the discussion and, jumping in when I think it's appropriate. The other way that we're going to be able to communicate this summer is through email. So, and I want to be real clear about this. I guarantee that I will get back to you within 24 hours when you send me an email. Usually it's a lot quicker than that. In terms of the weekends, I got to be honest with you, I can't guarantee that if you send me an email on Saturday at noontime that I'm going to get back to you by Sunday at 5 o'clock so that you can successfully complete the assignment at 6 o'clock. So it's really going to require, you to be just a wee bit thoughtful. And if you have a question about the upcoming assignment, please try to get it to me, by 3 o'clock on Friday. And I can guarantee you I'll get back to you, within a reasonable amount of time, certainly during some time on Saturday. If you email me on Saturday and Sunday, I can guarantee you I'll get back to you by Monday at noontime. But again, that's not going to help you if you have an assignment too. And I think that's really the best way to approach this. And I'm being totally honest with you in terms of my own personal schedule, in terms of what I may or may not have going on the weekends as would you. Certainly, if I sent you an email on Saturday, it would be unrealistic of me to expect a response from you within 24 hours. I can't expect that of you, and I certainly hope you won't expect that of me. Although again, I'll do the best I can to get back to you. So there's just a couple of points about the syllabus, a couple of points about taking an online class. I also hope that you'll take the time to watch the videos that I'm going to post. It's really the only way that I can talk to you about some of the topics that you're going to be reading about and we're going to be discussing. I'll be posting a video on the topics and the homework assignments for the first week, and hopefully you will take the time to watch that as well. So for now, thank you for watching. If you have any immediate questions, please send me an email. I've also set up a forum if you have questions that you think will be of general interest for the group as a whole, and you can find that on our class page. So the next time we have a chance to chat, thanks so much for watching, and again, thanks so much for taking a summer course. Once again, a round of applause, polite golf applause, but a round of applause nonetheless. I'm looking forward to working with all of you, and we'll see you soon.